a little loud here, guys, but we're on our way home. Made about a 4-hour trip, but we're on our way home. Welcome back to BS Garage, guys. Hey, just wanted to show you and tell you, well, the car is no longer. Me and my dad went over the weekend. We went, took about a 4-hour trip, 8-hour round trip, and we traded the car for something that I think you guys are gonna like. We're getting ready to start on it because we want to drive it this summer. Needs a lot of wiring and bed work and suspension work, but let me turn you around here. That's what we got. I know, I hate the paint. It's a 75 C10. It's got a 6.0 with a Trailblazer SS intake. It's got a cam, headers. It's got boom tubes on it. I'd start it up for you, but already started the process of draining the fuel cell because there's some bed work to do. So right now it's draining into a pan. Axle flip C-notch, and they put a lowering shackle. I know I'm about to say what I thought I never would say, but she's too low. We're gonna do away with the lowering shackle. Put a regular shackle just to bring it up a little bit. And I already got a 3-inch spindle and spring coming for the front because they just cut the spring and it's all the way down. They had this truck set up for drag racing. I took screws out just to check all the wiring. It's got a removable steering wheel. Man, it does not have power steering. So I'm gonna put a regular column in it, take care of this. I got another seat for it, and we gotta put power steering pump on it. The one that's on there, someone cut the bracket off, which I have some of them, so I'm gonna put power steering back on it and drive it around after I get rid of the teeth. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. I think we're just gonna sand it all down and reshoot it to green, primer green for now. The truck's a pretty solid truck for a 75. The only rust we found in it so far is there's a couple patches in the floor right here, and the inner rocker behind the rockers got holes in it, but there's no putty in the fenders or the rear fenders. Someone did some patching here, both steps, but other than that, there's really no rust. And it's an actual true short bed. It's not been shortened. So let's bring it back here. That's what it is. Guys, it's ridiculously loud. And yes, I'm gonna run it until I get in trouble. But I'm gonna go ahead and drain the fuel today. And while my dad's here, we're gonna set the bed off. I'm gonna go through and nut bolt check everything. Zip tie up some of these lines that got ran everywhere, and I'm gonna go through all the wiring, make sure the wiring's top notch, because I'm gonna have my kids in it. I don't want no fires. Make sure all the fuel lines are ran where they're supposed to be out of the way. Change shackle, and I'm gonna come up and change the spindles and coils, and then scuff it down, paint it, and run it for a little bit. This thing is, it's got a Yukon locker in the rear, 373 with a with a built TH 400, and we're gonna see what we can do with it. I don't know if old Danielle out there is getting jealous or not, but Well, guys, I started feeling better this morning. Well, whenever I woke up, which was only about an hour or two ago. As you can see, dash is out, seats out. Before I show you guys this, I'm still congested up. Almost can't barely talk, sore throat. But there is no need for unnecessary wiring. I just, guys, strip it out like I got it right now. Easy routing. Figure out where to put it. Out of the way. I don't know who did this. And I don't care. Just, man. That's the wiring power pile so far of stuff that's not needed. I mean, they had to set up a drag truck. They cut all the factory wiring out and it was just laying in there with the cluster. All this was stuff they had ran for toggle switches. As you can see right here, there's a whole row of toggles. The only wires you needed was 3, but we're going to do away with them too. We're going to make it real short. We're going to put the fuse box up under behind the glove box with the relay box. And the only thing we're going to have is a switch button and a push button start, and then the battery cutoff. And then I got a factory fuse box for the firewall that they took out that I'm going to de-pin to where it's only running the lights only. So it'll be running headlights, blinkers, park lights, tail lights, stuff like that. Can't really see in here, but that little flashlight. But this is actually a PSI wiring harness, standalone harness that they got. And all this stuff, relay box, fuse box, all this stuff was just laying behind the glove box. Then we got temp wire. Then we got reverse lockout wire. I'm not sure what this is. I think this is a power wire for the solenoid for the trans. I'm not sure. I gotta chase it down yet. This is our switch power for our PSI relay box. But I got a factory computer thing, or bracket. I'm going to close off some of these holes back here from the outside. And I'm going to mount the computer back here on a factory clip bracket. We're going to mount this back there, and we're going to mount the power. But we're going to put all that back here. Hey guys, BS Garage here. Hey, figure I show what the progress we've got going on so far. Just to let you know, we have finally got everything fixed on the laptop. Everything's downloaded, updated. I got everything transferred. It took a while because my old laptop wouldn't turn on, so I had to send it to someone, send it back to get everything put on my new laptop. But right now, I'll show you what we got going on. Previous video, I showed you where we got a new project, got rid of the Camaro. This truck was set for drag, so we started cutting all the old unnecessary wires out. Get you turn around here and show you what. Alright. Me and my oldest son, we got the seat out. Me and my dad got the bed out before he left. This is what we're working on. We have everything's completely been taken out of the dash of this truck. Now, I have everything in storage, but we want to run this thing a little bit this summer. So, honestly, I don't think I need to put any of it back. I know I have it. I think I'll just run a little electric heater in here, because I can run this thing probably almost into December, the way winter's been going here lately. So, we'll put an electric heater in and run it. The only thing I gotta figure out is I do have to put a factory fuse box in. Just to run all the lights. They had them all ran straight to power. So as soon as you hit the switch, all the lights came on. That was it. No blinkers or nothing. So I got another column for it. Yeah, but we redid all this wiring. You can see in here we re-netted everything, rerouted the battery terminals. They had all this ran clear back behind the seat. I went back in here. As you can see, I mounted the computer to the firewall. I got the relay box, fuse box, and I got a power distribution block there for fuses. I gotta figure out which one of these runs the fuel, tack, and fan. Then the rest of them will tie up. And then still gotta plug this hole. We started running some kill mat. It's got bed liner floor, but oh well. The Amazon was just some leftovers I had from the Suburban. I think I got a couple more of them to do up above the dash part of it. And then I'm gonna run kill mat back. That's what we're doing right now. We started running it back. I'd like to bring it all the way up to the back of the cab, but we'll see. I'm gonna start running it down to here, then all the way over, at least get the front half done. If I run out, we'll get more for the back half. But so we did that. I got hinges for the door. We got a power steering bracket and pump on. I ordered a 6AN line kit, so we'll have power steering. I did away with the PVC valve hookups they had on here. They had it all ran to the brake booster port on the back of the intake, which I don't know why they did that. Yeah, so we remade our plate. There's a tiny plate here. There's a bunch of holes in the firewall. Built this plate all the way across, and it's not just the cover holes. There wasn't a whole lot where the heater and stuff bolted. There was all open holes to mount the PCM back there. So I had to have a bigger plate to be able to mount it, have something to mount it to. And it was all holes for like the heater core and the blower motor and stuff like that. So, and then I got I got an oil catch can we're gonna mount right here. And then I thought about moving the regulator there too, but I think it's fine where it's at. As you can see, we got a hold plug there and down there, and the one behind the intake. Might be able to just do that with sound deadening for now. Got my buddy at Matheny Motors price checking me some inner fenders. And guys, if you haven't known this, he told me to go ahead and let people know. I don't know if it's every Matheny Motors, but my local Matheny Motors they do hot rod parts now. The right parts, off-road and track. They started selling all this hot rod parts now. I'm sure if you contact your Matheny Motors, wherever you're from, and just tell them, hey, do you guys sell hot rod parts or off-road parts or aftermarket parts? Ask. I know ours does now, and he gave me a bunch of papers on it. So I think I'm gonna start going through him because he says he can get them faster than the mail. So we'll just have to see if that's true or not. But I got a new battery disconnect which shows voltage too. They had one in it that was about on its last leg. It worked and didn't work, but I rerouted all the power wires on the power block that they had. It's kind of ran where they shouldn't have been ran. There's one still laying on the floor that I got cut off. And then we're going to rerun the fuel lines. These fuel lines are going to be ran down along the frame instead of up on the fender. And we're relocating this pump and the fuel lines. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I don't know how that works. I've never really had to deal with one that big, but being beside that drive shaft breaks, boom, pump's going bye-byes. So I'm mounting it up in the bed floor with the fuel cell. Get it up out of the way. And of course, we got the logo in there. So I'm gonna continue on working on finishing up this kill mat, and after we get all the kill mat and a little bit of wiring done we got to do, we're gonna start on getting rid of these teeth. Yeah. And before I start driving it, they don't have wiper blades or a wiper motor. Oh well. Do some anti-fog or something on it, or some Rain-X. See how it goes. I want to drive this thing. Just gonna run some antique tags on it, because I know I'm not gonna pass state inspection with the boom tubes. So we're gonna run with it. But I do tell you this. I wouldn't have tore this thing this far apart. I would have just started driving it. I looked at it. It's a really good, solid truck. I mean, look at the inside of the fenders. This thing is bent and broke. Fenders are solid. It's a good truck. It does have a couple small patches in the floor. I mean, it's a 75. Frame solid. But I noticed how some of the routing of the fuel lines and electrical lines was, and if I can find the old box, whatever I did with it, I can just show you how bad it was. I mean, look at all this unnecessary wires that was ran right here. They had everything running off this, everything. Look at the back where it's melted. So she was getting hot. That would have caused a fire. And with me in here, my kids in here, I would have been okay with that. I mean, I know it needed a little bit of work when I got it. And I like going through stuff when I get it before I start driving it. So sorry, just getting over a cold. So we're gonna finish this up. I got all the wiring okay, and I got a breaker. I got a breaker also to put at the battery. So if there's a back feed or something, it'll kick the breaker, just like we did on the Suburban. That way it prevents a fire. And I kept the fire extinguisher. I got a mess, guys. Don't mind me. Here, I got a hell of a mess. Kept the fire extinguisher out of the car. We're gonna mount it right up by the shifter on the left side, so I can easily grab it if need it. And we're gonna clean all this dirt and stuff off. But yeah, that's what we got so far. I don't know if you guys seen lots and lots of people put this kill mat and stuff in. I'm just gonna get it done, and then I'm gonna start videoing you guys how I'll do the rest of it. The catch can, the rest of the wiring, where we relocate the pump. There might not be no floor in that bed for a while, so I like to get some old barn wood planed down and put in it. So we might put it all back in, mock the fuel pump and everything back up in it, put the braces in it, fix the brake line that's just dangling, and the breather tube is just dangling, and I got a couple loose nuts on the shocks. And then I got 2 studs to replace. I got a stud in this wheel and that wheel to replace. And I got new lug nuts for it. Oh, and this came off a Dodge. I'm not sure what year Dodge. My dad would know. No Dodge car. I think they'll look good. I was thinking about mounting them on here. Can't remember what he said it was. But we're going to use them. But that's what I got so far, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, we're working away. Got a lot of it done. And so far, we got that last piece. And I think I might do the back of the cab too. I don't know. I gotta see how much I got left. Who knows? I still gotta do the firewall part. I need about 4 pieces of it, but man, 1 box of this stuff goes a long ways. I mean, I still got, I don't know, about 14 pieces. And I went from the cab firewall seam all the way back. I'm still shy of 3 without going to the back of the cab. So I think I got enough to do here plus 4 up there. But if you guys haven't used this, and it's pretty good stuff. Killmaster, pretty good stuff. It's a little bit more expensive. You can get Amazon Prime stuff, which I used it in the Suburban on the roof because of the collar. It was blue because I wasn't going to use the headliner in it. But man, this turned out good. I'll give you guys a finished product. All we got left down is tie down some wires, put the dash back in, and hook up all the new gauges. And then we can get the bed and floor back in and cover the seat and get it back in, and you guys will see this thing running around. Our next thing on the agenda is we're going to run this trans gauge for now, temp gauge. I'm going to temporarily steal the gauges out of Danielle out there because I'm still waiting on tire work on it, and I can't do nothing with it no more until I get the tire work done. But I'm gonna take the gauges out so we run this truck. I got it all in connectors, so should be able to stick them in here and make a connector to the truck for a switch. Either take them back out or buy new ones for the Suburban. But I'm gonna take all these out, clean this all up real good. I think I'm just gonna cut this piece off. It's broke. This is where the oh hell, toggle switch was mounted. Then we're going to do oil, temperature, and then either trans here or here, because I'm still trying to figure out where to mount my phone holder. There's not very many options on it. It's a big heavy duty phone holder, and it's going to be running my GPS. So I was thinking here, but then it's going to be in the way of the window and the steering wheel. I thought about up here, but it's still going to be in the way. So I'm going to have to wait until I get it all back together before I decide that. And then we got a new battery shut off. This also shows volts. It's got a little volt gauge on it. I used this on a boat before. These are actually pretty good. But I'll mount it here where they had the other one, and it indicates voltage right there inside. No matter if it's on or off. Well, I mean, if it's off, it ain't gonna show, but when it's on, it'll show it. But we're gonna mount it here, and then got 2 more pieces of kill mat to put in this door, and I'm gonna have 2 pieces left over. I think I'm just gonna cut them to fit a couple panels on the back wall of the cab for now and put them in there, and then that's pretty well it. My power steering line kit will come today. I put power steering on it. We took the whole unit off that the spare 4.8 I had, got it on there, just waiting on the line kit. And then I'm actually getting ready to go to Lowe's to see how much a piece of wood's gonna cost. I know you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm gonna get a treated piece of plywood, full sheet, and I'll put it in there. It's just temporary, so we'll run it. Still gotta take the pump filter out. They got so much line just bundled up and looped all the way to the front under the hood. There's so much line. I was gonna buy factory shackles, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it down a hole and cut the top off of that shackle for now. And I got a couple bolts tightening, re-secure brake line. And I was thinking the fuel cell was back here. I was seriously thinking about moving it about right here, right over the axle, get a little bit more weight over the top of the axle. But I don't want to lose too much bed space either, if that makes sense. So I might not. I don't know. Eventually that won't be in there. I'm going to put a tank right between the frame on the back. But that's it for now. We got it. Might as well use it until it don't work. And then my boys. We bought some paint stripper. And I'm going to try to get the black off the chrome.
where they painted over the marker lights, see if we can get all that off, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, welcome back to the bus suck garage here. Let me get this radio on. Alright. We've been working away at getting all this wiring done, and we're pretty damn close. Let me just grab a few things. Alright. This looks like a lot, but it's really not. This is all the gauges down to the connectors. This is our power, this is our switch. This is our gauge light for headlights. I don't think I'm gonna need this because I just want these, as soon as I hit the toggle switch, I want the lights to come on. But I forgot about the tack. So we'll have to cut all this off, add in this tack harness. I got a mess. Let's see if we can do this. Let me find my side cuts. We pretty well got, I had to download the PSI harness, standalone harness diagram, because I could not figure out, they had some wires ran and pinned in some spots that I really don't remember them being there. Does that make sense? Always thought they was not used. Well, just to make sure, I downloaded the diagram of it, and yeah, it's not supposed to be used. I don't know what they had running on there, but they depinned and added 2 wires, which one of them I was thinking was my tack signal, and it's not. And then another one I thought was my fuel pump, and it was not. So I'm not sure what they was using it for. Let's just put it that way. Not really sure. But I did. Let's see, what did I cut off? Mail. Put the mail in there. Another one of these. I wasn't gonna wire these up connector or nothing, but honestly just gonna haul tie it all in there and let her go. But yeah, I didn't do that. Didn't do that at all. I usually solder all this stuff, but this ain't gonna be in here long. Eventually we're gonna get an actual truck harness, and we are going to put the original harness back in and wire all this stuff up. But for now, so we can run it a little bit this summer, and probably next until we have issues with any of it. You know. If we don't have no issues with it, run it for a while. So, yeah. That's what we're doing right now, though. Yes, I just ran 3 wires into one plug-in, but like I said before, I'm not planning for this setup to be in very long. I'd like to take all the race car toggle switches and everything out, but that's what I got for now. We want a runner, so that's what we're using. So that was our straight power, and I can't remember what the other one was. White ignition on, which ignition on is going to be our toggle trigger. So go ahead and get it about right there. tell you, I hate stripping these little wires. Now, the only gauges I'm running in here is oil pressure, temp, volt, and one USB port, and a tack, which the tack and all the other gauges are all going to be off one toggle. We hit the toggle, they come on. And then USB port's on its own toggle and fuse, so we won't have to really worry about it. Just kind of I honestly prefer to have the truck harness. And if I had one this year, I'd have it back in there. I wouldn't do all this if I had it on hand. I got a couple at the old house in storage. And I got a buddy that has a couple. I'm afraid they might be too new and they're not going to bolt up in the firewall spot. So I won't know until he brings them. And just wait and find out. You know? Alright. There's that. Now we got our tack harness tied in. That yellow's another gauge wire, and the greens are tack signal. I might want to be using the yellow. If I have to. I think it's aluminum, and I can't say that damn word, don't even ask me. Illumination wire. But now, that's pretty well done. Pretty well put it in the truck now. But I'll get you guys all turned around here in a minute. Alright guys, we're back. I know it's kind of hard to see what's going on, but tying our gauges into our toggles, and I'm making ground. What happened to my other ground? There she is. So it don't need to be that long. Alright. Maybe we don't use butt connectors, but usually don't wire a mess up like this either. But it's not really a mess. It's an organized mess, let's just say that. I still don't know if it's gonna work yet. We might hit the key here in a little bit, hit this toggle switch and burn the damn place down. I don't know. Better make sure house insurance and everything else is up before I do it. Alright, go lighter. Fire maker. Alright. So it's not, that's pretty hot. Alright. This back around. kind of got a homemade ground stud over here. I ran out of junctions. I used to have some ground junction boxes, some other stuff, but kind of ran out. That happens. Trying to think if that's the last ground, and I think it is. So I kind of just drilled a hole, scuffed her up, lock nut, and then another nut and a bolt. Just stuck it up through. Also ran another real thick ground cable over farther and hooked to it just to make sure we got good ground on it. Now everything's done on our toggle side. We got one wire hookup down there. This is going to be the USB ports. I'm going to put 2 there. Fuel pump and tack. White. Yeah, white. Which I want to test them before I hook them up and make sure that's exactly what they are. Pretty sure it's pin 9, pin 10. On red and blue connectors. I think that's what it was. That's why I found them. They had everything, ran the toggles on this. Pump, switch. I'm going to let the PCM run the pump. I'm running the PCM on its own circuit, the standalone part of it. So, what we got right now is we should have power in all the gauges. There's the gauge harness. There's the tack harness. Transmission temp. So, what we got is, this is the starter button. When I hit that, it powers the PCM and fuel relays and fuses. Only. And so it's got its own relays and fuse on it. This one will activate the gauge lights only. So oil tint, volt, trans temp, and tack. This will turn these on. And then this will just be the OSB ports. That's it. And we still got 2 extras. This was already in the truck. We just went through and redid all of it. So I think I'm gonna put the tack right there. I was gonna put it inside the bezel that was already in here that we modified. I haven't even showed you guys that. I'll show you here in a second. But I was gonna do away with this reverse lockout, but I decided to just keep it in here. I do have to take this off because the nuts came off the bottom. You have to hold this button down to be able to back up. So when you're slamming gears, you don't accidentally hit reverse. But yeah, other than that, that's what we got. We ran all of our battery terminals. That's all electrical I gotta go over, except for what they had, the solenoids, this cutout solenoid and the trans temp wiring on the side of the transmission down below. I gotta get it all up on jack stands and check all that stuff. And then I gotta check behind the intake and the firewall and see how all that's in there, because there's no oxygen sensors on it. And you need at least 2. So, yeah. See what's going on there. And I've yet to hook HP tuners to the ECM that came with it. He said it was sent off and flashed. It's got a guy's number and everything right on it. I mean, I guess if I have any questions, I can call him. It's a North Carolina number. This truck came from North Carolina, so I can call and find out. Yeah. So here's our OBD2 port. This was left in it. I don't really need it. I just stuck it on there. I'm gonna build a little bracket here for the 2 ports, and that's it inside. The only reason I'm running USB port is charge phone, and then the the cigarette lighter, I'm gonna have to run a little electric heater in here. So yeah, because there is nothing left, nothing. But that's it in here, except for my son. My youngest son wants to put these little LED strip lights under the dash that he can turn on. Probably gonna wait on that. Do that later on. Make sure all this stuff works first. But yeah, I'll come around there and I'll show you guys the bezel that I redid. Alright guys, don't mind the mess. I got a big one. Alright, they already had this in the truck. Sorry guys. They had this piece in the truck. None of the gauges worked except for the trans temp one. I didn't have a trans temp. I'll order one eventually. This one's working. I don't even know. I don't think it's necessary to need it because we're out drag racing it. But went through, of course, glow shift. With the glow shift in, trans temp. This is where the rocker switch goes, steering column, and this is a battery kill switch. They had a different one in here. I like this one better because it indicates volts too, which don't make sense of that. And if you are wondering, yes, I robbed these out, Danielle. I will be putting them back, if not new ones in it. We're just borrowing them from the old girl for right now. So, that's all that's going to be in there. Thought about putting the tack and stuff here, but I don't feel like cutting a hole. I'm just going to screw it to and bolt it to the dash pad. Leave it at that. But that's what we got. Still got to cut these studs off. But yeah. Show you where we've gotten so far. Redid the firewall plate, cover up all the holes, and be able to have something to bolt the ECM to because the heater holes was there. All the inside's done, gauges are ready, everything's wired, and I'm going to run one wire and some zip time. The one wire is for the fuel pump. We cleaned up the back of the frame, fixed the brake line that was just dangling, breather tube, yoke was a little bit loose, went ahead and tightened it up. These was up here, dropped it down one, we cut the top off, had to cut a little bit here, it'll be alright for now. It was actually rubbing the bed floor, you couldn't put wood on this side of the bed because it was hitting. So we went down one notch, which really didn't change much of it. I mean, it's still low. There's the old boom tube. We sanded it all up, cleaned all the mud off this. We're gonna paint them gold. But yeah, we got power steering on there. I'm working on the power steering 6A inline kit, so we have power steering. And guys, we're getting ready to put the bed back on. Oh, and I bought some wood for it. I was gonna put a big piece of plywood back there, treated plywood, but my God. It's like $70–80 for a damn piece of treated plywood. But went up to Lowe's. Treated boards. They're not deck boards, they're just regular just old flat board. I'm not no carpenter, so I don't know what they call it. Plain board? I don't know. But they are treated. They got a bunch of knots in them. Had to get 9 of them because I think we're going to have to maybe split one in half by measuring this, but I'm not sure. I do have old barn wood, but I'm using that for Danielle. We're putting a wood floor in the back of the Suburban too. The hole from the second row back to the tailgate's gonna be wood floor. So I'm saving that for it. Man, I got a mess. wiring that came out of it. My buddy dropped off some fuse panels, factory fuse panel harnesses, so we can get all the lights ran. Where you are going the same color green with the whole truck, no more teeth. The hood's gonna stay black for now because I gotta find the hood, and we're gonna do green and gold. I don't know, I think it looks good. Looks better darker green, but eventually we probably will spray it a real nice dark like forest green. But for now, shooting and running it. I was gonna run it myself. Just go ahead and get in and start running it. But man, there were some issues, some small stuff, wiring issues. Fuse panel they had back there was melted, but that's what we got so far. I've been sick for like a week. Holy moly. School time started up, now everyone's getting sick. But yeah, appreciate it guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.